Revelation 3673. From the 1st of February 1946. Spiritual looking. By means of spiritual vision the human being could gain insight into the spiritual kingdom, but this requires a degree of maturity of the soul which only a human being on earth rarely attains. But the spiritual kingdom is no longer closed to him. Earthly matter and the material cover of his soul is no longer an obstacle for him to rise from earth and walk in otherworldly realms for his own education and to increase his soul's maturity. Only the earnestly striving and thirsting for truth will be granted this grace, and likewise only from him will the people be able to be given enlightenment who likewise strive for spiritual maturity. For what God has hidden from people will remain hidden from them until they themselves fulfill the laws which result in the lifting of the veil. The more perfect a person is on earth, the deeper is also his bond with the spiritual kingdom, for the gulf between the human being and the spiritual kingdom is only the imperfection of the former. If this is remedied, the bridge is already built on which the human being, that is his soul, can swing into the spiritual kingdom at any time in order to receive riches which further its spiritual development. The soul can also unconsciously dwell in those realms, that is, without the human being becoming fully conscious, thus its bodily sensations remain unaffected by the fact that the human being as such does not know, while the soul derives the greatest advantage from it because it is constantly instructed and thus increases in strength and power in order to further educate itself spiritually in the conscious state, and thus covers the earthly path in constant striving for perfection. But if the human being is fully aware of what the soul has seen in the spiritual kingdom, then he has reached a higher stage of development and is also close to his physical end. His stay on earth then only has the purpose of explaining to those who strive but have not yet attained that perfection, and who are thereby to be spurred on to spiritual activity, to strive for perfection. However, the impressions will only be comprehensible to these fellow human beings, for the spiritual kingdom exhibits infinitely many deviations from the earthly kingdom, and only when the human being penetrates deeper spiritual knowledge through activity in love will the explanations of a spiritual observer be understandable to him, because earthly laws are eliminated and understanding spiritual laws requires a degree of perfection. However, the soul of the spiritually observant person is immeasurably delighted by what reveals itself to it in the spiritual kingdom, and it only lives earthly life as if in a dream because it has recognized that it is not the soul's true life, that its true home is the spiritual kingdom and that actual life only begins when it can enter the spiritual kingdom without a material cover. It also appreciates the extraordinary grace that the spiritual vision has been opened to it and is full of gratitude and praise towards its Creator, its Father of eternity, whose commandments it only strives to fulfill on earth and to whom it is therefore also spiritually and mentally bound and will remain so for all eternity. Amen.